What if one day you woke up in a world where everything was the opposite? A world not defined by what it is, but by what it isn't. A mouse, a cat, and a dog. Three beings bound by an ancient chain of fear and instinct. Natural enemies, their lives a constant dance of predator and prey, of chase and flight. But that morning, something profound changed. They opened their eyes, and they were no longer in their world. They awoke to a place bathed in an ethereal glow, a forest where the very laws of nature seemed to have been rewritten. The sky above was a soft, shimmering gold, while the trees reached up with brilliant blue leaves. Rocks, untethered from the earth, drifted lazily in the air like silent, sleeping clouds. This was a dimension where the impossible was the everyday, and in this dimension, the rules of their existence were different. The mouse, who had lived every moment of his life in the shadow of fear, now felt a strange calm. He saw the cat, not as a hunter but simply as another being. The cat, whose instincts screamed to pounce and to conquer, felt no such urge. The thrill of the hunt was gone, replaced by a quiet curiosity. And the dog, whose bark had always been a declaration of territory and dominance, found himself silent. The instinct to chase no longer pulled at him. Everything around them felt peaceful. Nature itself, from the floating stones to the glowing flora, existed in a state of serene harmony. In this place, the constant static of fear didn't exist. There was only room for something their own world had long forgotten: empathy. The small mouse, emboldened by this new reality, cautiously approached the cat. He did not scurry or hide. He simply walked, his heart beating with a steady, peaceful rhythm. The cat watched him come, not with predatory eyes, but with a gentle gaze. Instead of a swat of a paw, the cat nudged a fallen berry towards the mouse, an offering. And the dog, seeing this exchange, didn't growl or charge. He moved to stand beside them, a silent guardian, a protector of this newfound peace. It was a sight that defied all logic, yet felt more right than anything they had ever known. Together they explored this strange, beautiful world. They drank from rivers of liquid light and rested under trees that hummed with a soft, comforting energy. They were no longer enemies, no longer defined by their roles. They were simply together. As twilight painted the golden sky with strokes of purple and silver, the three companions sat together on a mossy floating island. The mouse, his heart full of a question that had been growing all day, finally turned to the cat. "Why?" he asked, his small voice clear in the quiet air. "Why don't you eat me?" The cat looked at the mouse, and for the first time her eyes held not hunger, but a deep, shared understanding. "Because here," she replied softly, "I learned what fear feels like. I felt your fear, and in feeling it, I could no longer be its cause." The dog, who had been listening intently, moved closer and added his own deep, resonant voice to the conversation. "And I learned that my bark created walls," he said. "Here, we are all part of the same heart. There are no walls between us." The three of them looked at each other, not as a mouse, a cat, and a dog, but as kindred souls who had stumbled upon a universal truth in a world turned upside down. When they woke up again, the familiar scent of damp earth and the green canopy of their own world greeted them. They were back. The sky was blue, the trees were green, the rocks were firmly on the ground. Everything was as it should be. But something inside them had been irrevocably changed. The cat looked at the mouse and saw not prey, but the small friend from the golden forest. The dog looked at the cat and saw not a rival, but a fellow guardian of a fragile peace. The instinct was still there, a faint echo from a past life, but it was overshadowed by a new, more powerful feeling. For the first time, they truly saw one another, and in that moment of pure connection, they understood. The real shift in dimension, the most profound transformation, doesn't happen by traveling to a distant world. It begins always within. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more reflections that awaken the mind and heart. Until next time, remember, to change your world, you must first change your heart.